Hi, this video is on GCSE higher ratio and it's all about compound ratios. So we're going to see a few different types of compound ratios, questions, find out when you need to use the things and how you can do them pretty quickly. So let's get cracking. So in the first question, we've got the amount of money that Alan and Barbara have is in the ratio 2 to 3 and the amount of money that Barbara and Carlos have is in the ratio 9 to 10. Give the ratio of A to B to C. Now this question's really easy because what you've got is two separate ratios, but they're linked together by this magic person here, Barbara. Okay, Barbara is very, very handy for us. What Barbara's doing is linking Alan's money and Carlos's money. And the way to deal with a question like this is really simple. A to B to C is in the ratio 2 to 3 for Alan and Barbara, and for Barbara and Carlos in the ratio 9 to 10. And all you need to do is to just get them to have the same ratio part for Barbara. So we'll call this 6 to 9, 9 to 10, and once you've got that one, you can put the ratio of A to B to C is in the ratio 6 to 9 to 10. I needed to multiply this row here by 3 to get 6 to 9. That was all it was. I just need to match up for Barbara. Alright, really easy question. Let's move on. Andrew and Bill share some money in the ratio 2 to 3. Cheryl and Dave share the same amount of money, same amount of money in the ratio 4 to 5. So you should say share the same amount of money in the ratio 4 to 5. So Andrea and Bill are sharing half of the money. Andrea is getting 2/5 of half of the money. She's getting 2 out of a total of 5 shares. There are 5 shares overall. 2 plus 3 is 5. So she's getting 2 out of those 5 shares. Bill is getting 3 out of 5 shares of half of the money. Cheryl is getting 4 out of, think about that denominator, it's 9 shares of half of the money. And Dave is getting 5 out of 9 shares of half of the money. All we need to do now is to multiply some bits up and tidy up as best we can. We want this in simplest form, which means we need to give integers. So we've got 2 over 10 to 3 over 10 to 4 over 18 and 5 over 18. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to multiply this fraction by 18 over 18. I'm going to multiply this fraction, in fact I'm going to multiply it by 9 over 9 to get 90ths. 90ths will be a really nice number to deal with this one. 90 and 90. So I'm going to multiply by 9, so we get 18. 3 multiplied by 9 is 27. 18 to go into 90 goes multiplied by 5. So we need to multiply by 5 here, which is 20. 18's into 90 go 5 times, so we'll get 25. And we'll get 18 to 27 to 20 to 25. Okay, you don't need the denominators once they all match. Okay, so a good trick as well is if you check, if you add up 18, 27, 20 and 25, they add up to 90. What that means is that 90 was the least amount of money in total if everything's in pounds. If you can't break things down into pence, then there was £90 as a minimum. And then the next amount after that would be 180, the next amount after that would be 270, okay, if you were keeping things in pounds. Alright, moving on. Alan and Bill share some money in the ratio 2 to 3. Cheryl and Dave share 3 times the amount of money that Andrea and Bill shared in the ratio 4 to 5. So you might want to pause it and give it a crack, but I'll get started. So we've got Andrea, Bill, Cheryl, Dave. Now Andrea got 2/5 of, now they got 1 chunk of money, but these got 3 times the amount of money. So Andrea and Bill actually only got 1/4 of the amount of money. So Bill got 3/5 of 1/4 of the amount of money. Cheryl got 4/9, of 3/4 of the amount of money, and Dave got 5/9 of 3/4 of the amount of money. Okay, multiply these bits up and you get 2 out of 20, 3 out of 20, 4 3s are 12, 4 9s are 36, and 15 out of 36. And what we need to do now is come up with some value that we can multiply these things by to end up with a common denominator. So a common denominator of 20 of 36 would be 180. If in doubt, you can always do 20 times 36, which is 720. It'll just mean you'll get something really big. So we're going to go with 180, and you'll just need to cancel it down. 180 and 180. So multiply by 9. Okay, multiply 20 by 9 to get 180, 2 by 9 to get 18. 20 times 9 is 180, 3 times 9 is 27. 36 times 5 is 180, 12 times 5 is 60. 36 times 5 is 180, 15 times 5 is 75. So we'll get 18 to 27 to 60 to 75, and we can divide through by 3 as well. 6 to 9 to 20 to 25, and that'll be A, B, C, D in the simplest form. Okay, so in this case it wasn't too difficult. You were just trying to say what fraction of the amount of money they've got in total. Right, moving on. This next question is not the exact same. It's similar-ish in some ways because you're still using fractions to express the ratio and to create the sums. But in this case, it's sort of layered because what you've got is a certain ratio and then you've got a ratio of one of those parts. And so what's happening is you've got each flower is either red or yellow, and then each flower is either a tulip or a rose. What we're after by the end is the amount of flowers that are red tulips. So first off, they have to be a tulip, and then after that they have to be a red tulip, because what you can see is the number of tulips, the number of roses is 6 to 5. So for a flower to be a tulip, flowers that are tulips is 6 out of 11 shares. Tulips that are red is 3 out of 7. So for a flower to be a red tulip, they need to be 6 out of 11 and then multiplied by 3 out of 7, because you've got 6 out of 11 chance that they're an actual tulip, and then after that you've got a 3 out of 7 chance that they're actually red. So it's a combination of those two probabilities, 6 out of 11 multiplied by 3 out of 7, which comes out as 18 over 77. Okay. Have a think, is it possible that this flower shop has 100 flowers in it? Have a think. The answer to that is no. 18 out of 70, every 77 flowers are tulips. Exactly 18 out of exactly 77 flowers. If you had 100 flowers in there, you'd have some part of a flower that was a red tulip. It just doesn't work out. So there has to be a multiple of 77 tulips in the a multiple of 77 flowers overall in the shop. Weird. All right. So I suggest pausing the video, and then after you paused it, and you can replay it, I'll start off. So we've got A to B to C. We've got 3 to 4, and then 8 to 9, and so that is 6 to 8 to 9. And so the ratio of A, B, C in the simplest form is 6 to 8 to 9. All right, moving on. Again, pause the video, give it a crack. So in this case, we've got Andrew and Bill share some money in the ratio of 5 to 3, and Cheryl and Dave share the same amount of money in the ratio of 2 to 5. So Andrea gets 5/8 of 1/2 of the money. Bill gets 3/8 of 1/2 of the money. Cheryl gets 2/7 of 1/2 of the money. And Dave gets 5/7 of 1/2 of the money. So Andrea is getting 5/16 of the money. Bill is getting 3/16 of the money. Cheryl is getting 2/14 of the money. Okay, be careful with that. And Dave is getting 5/14 of the money. All we need to do now is come up with some common denominator that we can use for these. Okay, now 16 and 14 is not a particularly easy common denominator to come up with, and if you're in doubt, what you can do is just multiply by 14, 14, multiply these by 16 and 16. Okay, the denominator is going to be 14 16s, but we can do 5 14s is 70, 3 14s is 42, 2 16s is 32, and 5 16s is 80, and then we can just cancel from there. The denominator would have been whatever 16 times 14 is, which is a big number. I think it's 234 or something like that. So we get 35, 21, 16, 40. There's no more cancelling that can be done with that. That's done. Okay. So the ratio in simplest form is this amount. What proportion of the money did Cheryl get? Well, Cheryl got 16 out of 35 plus 21 plus 16 plus 40. So that's 56, 57, 77, 107, 112. So Cheryl got 16 out of 112. 16 out of 112 is 16 out of 112 is equal to 1/7. So Cheryl got 1/7 of the money. Okay. This question here, again, pause the video, give it a crack, and then we'll go through it. So we've got Andrew and Bill share some money in the ratio of 1 to 3. Cheryl and Dave share 3 times the amount of money. So Andrew and Bill are only getting 1/4 of the money. Andrea is actually getting 1/4 of 1/4 of the money. Bill is getting 3/4 of 1/4 of the money. Cheryl is getting 2/7 of 1/4, 3/4, pardon me, of the money. And Dave is getting 5/7 of 3/4 of the money. And so we're going to get 1/16, 3/16, 6/28, and 15/28. Now we need to come up with some common denominator for 16 and 28. Now, off the top of my head, I can't think of one. If you can't think of one, we're going to multiply these two by 28 and these two by 16, and the denominator will be whatever 16 times 28 is. So we get 28. 3 times 28 will be 60 and 24, which is 84. 6 16s would be 60 plus 36, which is 96. And 16 times 15 will be 160 plus 80, which is 240. We can cancel down 14 to 42 to 48 to 120, which is 7 to 21 to 24 to 60. And that's it. Okay, A to B to C to D is in the simplest form there. All right. Last question. A group of people went to a restaurant. Have a little read of it, and we'll go through it in a second. So in this question, you've got a group of people went to the restaurant, and we're trying to find out how many people chose curry. So what they have to have done is chosen their starter, and then after they've chosen the starter, we're finding out how many people chose curry. So we're after the people who went from soup, then curry. And we want to find out the people who went from prawns, then curry. Okay, so people who chose soup were 2/5 of the total amount of people. And then after that, of those 2/5 of people, 3/8 chose curry, which is 6 out of 40, which is 3 out of 20. So the probability that somebody chose soup and then curry is 3 out of 20. The probability that somebody chose prawns, which is 3/5, and then curry, well, the probability after somebody chose prawns that they then chose curry was 5 out of 6. And so we'll end up with 15 over 30, which is 1/2. So actually half the restaurant chose prawns and then curry. Okay, So all we need to do is find out what fraction of people chose curry. So we need to add together 3/20ths of the people that chose soup and then curry, plus 10/20ths, a half is 10/20ths, isn't it? Of the people who chose prawns and then curry. So 13/20ths of all the people in the restaurant chose curry. Hopefully you got the same answer as me. All right, thanks very much for watching. Good luck with your revision. Cheers.